Welcome, welcome to Optimize and Elevate. I'm Jake Bush, and this is good, good, good. How is everything in Kansas today, John? Okay, okay. Hey, hang on, hang on. In the ever warm land of Kansas, where you get a whole season of fall. Yeah, good. Good, good. Yeah, I remember a few weeks ago, right? Well, we were cold here, and you had a little bit nicer weather. You're like, man, it's 40, and now it seems like maybe we've caught up to each other. I believe that. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about balancing a role in a committee while also having all the responsibilities of working time, um, household, family, all of that. How do you go about doing that? And even more importantly, where do you find places to give back while making time to involved in? Yeah, it adds up. I mean, 100%. I mean, you can fill your time with a volunteer role, right? There's people that make careers out of it themselves, and there's people that are full-time volunteer, right? Um, just a few weeks ago, my partner, she organized a food drive, and there's so much work going up into that, right? It was hours and hours and hours, and not just from her, from other people. And there's also people that are constantly at it, like they're constantly organizing something, whether it's annually or multiple times a year. Um, and yet there's no compromises on any of it. It all comes together. And so there has to be some sort of balance. I think that. Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, and it seems like if you're going to give back, you have to spend the time to think about how is this impact going to matter? How should it be done? You can't just go and do it. You often have to uh, plan or organize a lot of different pieces. even if someone else has set it up for you, you have to read the instructions, figure out what, Cross, for an example, wants set up and uh, they need you to do. And so, you know, I mean, there's a lot to orient yourself around if you're going to um, be in two roles, right? I think that's the thing that I just find incredible, right? Is being able to, focus on multiple things, right? I think going into this, we mentioned some people think like you can only like one track mind if you're in too many places. Um, you're not going to have that focus. And yet there are people that maintain that focus and balance, even in organizing. Sure. Do you think most people enjoy participating in, some sort of, you know, free, whether it's a hobby or, you know, volunteer group, right? Do you think most people enjoy that kind of area? Or do you think most people were better off just going home, sitting on the couch, right? Making dinner? Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah. Yeah, I'm super curious, right? It seems totally like a burden of love. And why don't we move over there, right? Rebecca Lowe is our guest, as you can see in the title card. And her bio, I mean, she is a very, very busy life. She's a mother of you know, uh, 3 amazing kids. She works full time as an account consultant, the facility supplies space. There's a joke on that that I hope she'll tell. It's pretty funny. And she's also an active member of a chamber of commerce locally here in Davis County, Utah. Um, and she serves on two committees within that. Um, in addition to all of this, she's got, and maybe this is some of the motive here, right? She had breast cancer a decade ago, and she's a survivor. Um, and part of that, yeah, no, and part of that is her and her sister have now started creating an event to raise money, which is annual, and they do other things throughout the year. So I'm really excited for this one. Right, Rebecca is someone I've known for years, and she's an incredible human being. And I think there's a lot. to how she manages her life. I've never quite gotten the chance to sit down and hear from her how she manages everything and what all she does, but really exciting. And Rebecca, I think we're going to move up to broadcast mode.
Okay.
Let's do that now. And
Guys,
then you just want to hit that raise hand button. We'll pull you on up to stage. Welcome, welcome, Rebecca. It's so good to have you on.
thank you so much. I'm so excited to get to know you guys a little better and share some of the reason behind what I do.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And so, tell us a little bit about all the roles you have, right? Whether it's chamber work, right? I just want the list, right? Because I'm
Hold on,
sure we
let
could
me
just
pull it
talk
out.
on there.
Yeah, it is a long list. I listening and all of that. And how does she get it all done? Well, let's just be honest. The reality is, I don't get it all done all the time. um, we are 3 days away from my annual charity ball, and my dishes are not done. My laundry is partway done. There's stuff all over my home. Like I have a room full of all of the silent auction items that have been donated that are organized but still taking up space. And it's just the reality is it doesn't all. So I want to give everybody grace if they're feeling like, oh, this amazing lady is getting everything done. No, I'm not. um, I have to kind of segment my brain to say, okay, right now for this next hour, I'm going to focus on this, and then everything else has to go to the wayside, and then I turn around and pick up the next piece and run with that. So that's how my brain works, and it works for me, and I just have to be okay knowing that not everything is done in that moment. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Certain things have deadlines. I don't know if you guys have heard the analogy of the balls that we're juggling. Some of them are glass, some of them are rubber. Are you familiar with
Oh,
that?
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I look at that as kind of the relationships in my life, or, the tasks, and some are glass, you can't drop those. That's obviously my family, but some things are rubber and you drop them, they're gonna bounce and you pick them back up and that's okay. That's how I try to think about things.
So tell us a little bit about Barclays. What happened to create that? From my understanding, it's not just you, you've got a partner in it as well. Some
I
really
do.
good partnership. Yeah.
Yes, so
That's
the
wonderful.
origin story of the SparkLee Sisters Charity Ball, right? Every superhero has an origin story. So this is mine. In 2013, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. I was the first in my family. I'm the youngest of 9 children, so in Utah, some of us have large families, and that's
Yeah.
true for me. So the youngest of 9 kids, I was the first diagnosed. Over the next several years, 5 of the 9 of us were diagnosed with different forms of
Wow.
cancer. 3 with breast cancer, 1 with ovarian cancer, and 1 with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Um, we did lose one of our sisters to ovarian cancer in 2017. Um, and so with my diagnosis in 2013, and then one of my sisters just older than me, who she and I have probably the closest relationship of myself with my siblings. She was diagnosed in 2016, and she was also 6 months pregnant at the time. And so that was like she's my hero,
Mm.
for sure. But we ended up working with the same oncologist. Her treatment plan was very similar to mine. But after my diagnosis and all my treatment, I also went through a divorce during that time as well. And as my birthday rolled around, my first birthday after my diagnosis and divorce,
Mhm.
I was like, I'm going to celebrate life. And I threw my own birthday party that year. And lots of family and friends came, fresh out of treatment. It was on a lot of people's radar to celebrate life. And so we had a big party, and that was great. So I did that for the next several years. Well, come up to 2019, and now I'm turning 40, and my sister who went through it in 2016, her name's Catherine. She and
Mhm.
I were working at an event. We were reps for a local jewelry, or not a local jewelry. We're working a local event, reps for a jewelry line. selling jewelry. And that's kind of where the SparkLee Sisters. So Lee is our maiden name, Lee, and that's where we kind of branded as SparkLee Sisters, buying with jewelry, and Lee is our maiden name. And we're selling jewelry at this formal event, like a fundraising event for something else. And we looked at each other and we're like, why don't we have events like this where people get dressed up very often? We're in these beautiful formal gowns. And this was like a month or two before my birthday. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to throw my birthday party. And this idea just blossomed into, why don't we create an event? It can kind of be a birthday party. And so her birthday is 2.5 weeks after mine. So we decided to hold that first one in between our two birthdays. And so we just put word out. We're like, this is a reason to get dressed up. And we're like, if we're going to do this, we should give back. And of course,
Mhm.
um, breast cancer on our mind, we decided to work with the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer, which is through the American Cancer Society. I had been attending their events. They have an annual walk every October, and I'd been attending, and along with my sister, every year since my diagnosis in 2013. And so we just had this idea, if we're going to do this, then let's make it a force for good. Use our collective efforts to do good and be part of something bigger than ourselves. So the first one was very small. We had a playlist, rented a small venue, and we probably had maybe 30, if that many people there, and basically raised enough to donate like $100 to $200 to each charity. The other charity that we support, I know, where you have to start somewhere.
The
The other
second you
charity,
said we rented a space, that's really hard to break even.
yeah, right. Well, honestly, we just donated, like that was our covered that ourselves. So then when as people came and donated and bought tickets, then that donation could go to the charity. So it's grown since then. But the other charity that we support, we came across a year or two before that, is local here in Utah. It is called Needs Beyond Medicine. And it was actually founded by a gentleman whose mother had passed away from ovarian cancer. So that was a tie-in with us, with our sister going through ovarian cancer. Um, and they actually help people that are currently going through cancer with costs outside of medical bills, which is why the name Needs Beyond Medicine. They help try to meet needs beyond medical expenses. And so they have an annual event as well, usually in November, um, that we attend and support as well. So we decided to support these two nonprofits 50-50 with the money that we raised. So 2019 was our first official SparkLee Sisters Charity Ball. And then, of course, 2020 happened, and nobody had any in person events. So the next year, as spring came around, and at the time we did it in the spring that first year because that's when our birthdays are. So we decided, are we going to do this? Are we going to do this again? Okay, let's make it a little bigger. And at that point, we reached out to some local businesses to get prizes donated, that we giveaways and silent auction. That's a way to raise more money. And and we also started working with a DJ, which makes the experience so much better. And and so that was the second one. And then we've just done it every year since then. So this will be our sixth event, happening this Saturday, October 25th, at Davis High School in Kaysville, Utah. And it's a lot of work, but luckily, with my connections through the Chamber of Commerce and through my job, I've met some amazing people like Jake and his partner Chelsea, who have been sponsors for the event the last few years. And I'm so happy to report that this year, through the sponsor donations that we've been given, it's covered all of our fixed costs, so that 100% of everything that night can go directly to the charities. So that's been my ultimate goal. Yeah, that's a big deal, and that comes with effort, right? You have to make those contacts and follow up and be willing to ask and put yourself out there. And so I'm really excited going into that this weekend, that to know that everything that's coming in that night will go directly to our charities. Um,
Your story makes it
yeah, thanks.
your story makes it so much more approachable when you say, "Hey, we started here, and then we got hit with a pandemic, and then we organized the next one," right?
Yeah.
And even that first one does not sound like it was a small effort, at all. So each year has been a lot of work. However, over 6 years, you've really turned it into something, I think has a really large footprint.
Yeah, it's starting. I remember, I think it was 2 years ago. we ran some Facebook ads trying to draw additional people in. A local community newspaper wrote an article
Oh,
about
yeah.
it, and so that drew some people in. But I remember this is what's funny is my sister runs an in-home daycare, and so she doesn't have as many opportunities to get out into the community during the day as I do, uh,
Right.
and and so most of the people that have heard about the event generally know me personally. And I remember seeing the first ticket purchase come through because we use Eventbrite, and I get the notification and I'm like, "Wait, I don't know this person." Somebody found our event that I don't personally know, and that was success. And so as people checked into the event that year, I was like, "How did you hear about us?" Like, I'm trying to track, our marketing budget, and yeah, and so, it's exciting, and this year, this is also another milestone. We had a woman attend, last year. So think it was 2 years ago, we started working with the Making Strides event and their event planners, and they've given us a table at their event so that we can promote the charity ball and then the events that, a couple weeks later. And so we were handing out invitations, flyers, and promoting it, and that's a totally different crowd, right? Like, people understand going through cancer and the need to have something uplifting and fun to look forward to and a reason to celebrate. So we got a few people to our charity ball that year, through that event. Um, and then I also send out thank you cards after with photos from the event. Like, I really try to make it an experience, but so an event to remember. And so one of these women who had attended, she came through the Making Strides event. She showed up, and we got to know her a little bit there. And then we send out thank you cards. And then I mail out announcements, invitations again about a month before the event. Hey, it's coming again. We hope you can join us. So she has bought tickets again for this year's event. So this is a first time repeat attendee that I don't personally know that has come because of the outreach and the efforts that we've put. So I'm like, one, that means she had a good time and is coming again, and you know, um, yeah. So anyway, it's exciting. It's exciting every year. It's just a little more exciting. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. People don't realize until you're personally touched by it how really devastating it can. Be.
Well, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. It's difficult too to, like, imagine, like, just the space you've gotta be in to, like, go through that, and maybe like there'd been a little bit of gap you've recouped,
yeah.
a little bit between there and 2019, 2017, whenever you guys were starting to organize this. It's amazing to think of going through everything and then getting yourself back to a place where you say, "Hey, a few years later, I can do something that's gonna impact, people going through what I went through," right?
Right,
That's a
right.
really, I wouldn't say aggressive, but like that's something I think a lot of people would struggle to get back to so quickly, right? I think a lot of people are just trying to rebuild after it. So say, who
Yeah,
can I help around me? Um, that's admirable and something I think a lot of us, right, can take some inspiration from.
thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember middle of treatment, and I was really really sick, and I remember laying on the bathroom floor. I was so sick, just waiting to just whatever was going to happen. I was like, okay, is it? Like, am I done? And and just this thought occurred to me, and this really helped push me forward. Is it just this thought just said, it won't always be like this. And and then a follow up thought was, there will be a time that you will look back at this moment and realize you're on the other side. You made it through. And so I kind of pushed for those moments, during
Yeah.
treatment and during those really sick, hard down times. And so I guess the way I look at it is like now what I'm doing and trying to celebrate life and find reasons to have fun and the little things. I'm like, these are the moments why I had to go through that. So I could appreciate these moments now.
John, question for you. How important, like, was family right there? I mean, you were going through something similar with, grandchild. What was it like from the outside to be supporting people in your family? I think there's a relationship there. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. You want people walking out of there on a high and feeling like they were part of something bigger than themselves, and because it really is a collective effort. There's no way that I personally could do what happens that night, right? I could not pull that off myself. It does take everybody that participates in that event leading up to it, did attend, all of the businesses that donate items. I mean, all of it. It is a group thing to come together to make that happen. And I hope that high carries them off, so we have people that want to come back again next year because they knew it was part of something good and they want to do it again. Do you mind me asking about how many businesses contribute to either
Oh
sponsorship
man.
or donations?
I'd say probably about 40 to 50
That's a lot.
between silent auction items, giveaway prizes. We've got companies like our photographer, she donates her time. She doesn't ask for any money with that. The DJ, he comes and helps. The first few years, he was just working for percentage of the funds we raised. But my sister and I were like, he's like the headliner, and so she and I actually put our own money into that, and we his full rate, and then everything else can go towards the charities. Um, I'm trying to think who. Oh, the we've got a gal that comes and does mocktails. She donates her time. We've had a photo booth in the past that they just donate their time and the printouts. I mean, people that just make the experience with nothing but cakes. Our local franchise owner here, Sean Banda, he donates um, little buntinis, the little mini bunt cakes to as part of our refreshments. I mean, it's just off the top of my head, like, and I've mentioned Jake and his partner Chelsea. They are both sponsors. The insurance company that I have to get the insurance for the event space. Like anyway, just yeah, so many businesses help out, and I'm just so grateful.
How do you feel like your role in your current job maybe even helps with like knowing how to navigate those relationships? I imagine that's a skill that's
100%.
actually been built up over time, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes. So that's I don't think I mean I wouldn't have the connections I do if not for my participation Chamber of Commerce and getting to know. That's how I met you through that connection,
yeah.
and it's just being out in the community and being visible and attending regular events, being on the committees. That helps because then when I do go to approach and ask, "Hey, can you help out with this? Would you be willing to help out with this?" And they're like, "Oh, you I've seen you around. You seem like a legit person."
Yeah.
And so they're willing to jump on board, right? I'm not just somebody that's just knocking on the door that they've never seen or heard of before. So that helps. And so I'm really grateful and I don't want to take that for granted. I am grateful to be able to kind of mesh those worlds and yeah, that's definitely helped get, get those connections.
And yeah, a lot of work went into that.
People, and that includes the sponsorships include attendee tickets as well. And so I expect that same amount this year. We always sell the most tickets like that very last week, and there's people that will buy at the door. And for the planner in me, I'm like, can you just let me know? Can you just buy your ticket in advance? Like I even do early bird ticket pricing up to a week before because I'm like, hey, I really want to know. I'm trying to incentivize just for planning purposes. How many treats do we need? How many swag bags we're putting together
Mhm.
little swag bags for attendees. So yeah, but they always show up. I just trust the process.
Yeah, those aren't small numbers by any means, right? And so going from 30 people to 80 people, maybe in a digital age setting doesn't sound like a lot, but
Right.
for an in-person local, that's massive.
Yeah, I and it really has been grassroots and so it's just yeah, it's fun. It's exciting to see it grow and see new people every year and repeat attendees like you guys. And so yeah, it's fun.
Izing something like this takes a special, like, kinda skill set and, I mean, not only a network skill set, all those things that come together, and like you said, you're a planner, so you're the right person to organize. Where does maybe someone who's not a planner, um, find a space where they can have an impact locally? What you're right? And maybe
Boy,
that's both John and, right, you, right, whoever.
right, yeah. I'm like, what does John say about that?
You're like, "I'm not the idiot."
I I would say oh, go ahead. Okay, sorry. There's a little delay there. I would say it has to be something that you personally feel a connection to. So for me, it was through the cancer community, and
Yeah.
that worked with my sister. Unfortunately, we share that bond. And but it has to be something that you feel passionate about, right? Because there will be days that are hard, and you have to understand, why am I doing this? So the why has to be bigger than you, and so hopefully it's something that you can relate to on a personal level that keeps going and it keeps you wanting to do it.
Yeah, so, like, that superpower of being able to organize and plan goes away if it's something disconnected, right?
Yeah, right. That drive. Yeah, that motivation. True. That passion kind of spills over into, into enthusiasm. And when you talk about it, people get excited. They feel that.
Is like I imagine some of the best things people can do is just like invite someone out or share the word or come support, right?
Yep. All of those things. I always tell people when I have an invitation, grab some friends, come along. It doesn't have to be, people are like, well, does it have to be a date? Oh, no. We have lots of people that come with just friends, girls' night out. We've had people come by themselves. I've had a few attendees that have shown up by themselves, didn't know anybody there, but had heard about it and wanted to come. And that takes bravery too, right? To show up without your posse. And so, right, right. Don't go alone.
Yeah. How often, like, does this come into conflict with other roles that, you're a part of? Do you ever have to set down portions of what you're doing with the chamber or, committee work? Is your employer pretty warm and welcome? Like, is this something that they're also passionate and excited that you do?
No. Um, no, what I appreciate about my employer is the role I'm in is flexible,
Yeah.
and so I do have a meeting, an in-person meeting I need to be at this afternoon. But aside from that, it's I'm on my phone or computer, or I'm in person with my clients, and I think they appreciate too. In fact, they've been a sponsor in the past as well, and nationwide, our company is actually a sponsor of the Making Strides nationwide, and
Really?
so they appreciate and support the volunteerism as well, and so
Mhm.
I do appreciate that, and I try to, like I said at the beginning, I kind of segment my time, and like last night, I'm working on my computer pretty late, working on the digital images to shout out our sponsors. So you'll shout out later today.
Oh,
And
thanks.
but but there's times when I'm working late at night working on a quote for one of my customers that I need to get to them. So it's just balancing that, right? It's it's that time management. You just have to kind of be like, okay, now I'm doing this, and then shift gears and do that. And so that can happen anytime during those 24 hours in a day. I'm not just a 9 to 5. Like, well, I'm a whenever I need to get
You
it
keep
done.
all the hats on the table pretty handy for when you
Yep.
need it.
Yep. Very flexible.
Yeah. And I think that's where, the beginning of the call, not everyone has that flexibility. But I think most people, if you're working 9 to 5, it's super easy to go attend something like this on a Saturday. And you make it super easy for people to support even further because the auctions are way too easy to buy for. It's
Yeah.
coming up into the holiday season, so it's great for gifts.
Yeah.
It's coming up towards, some businesses are closing their books in January. So I think you've picked a really good charity to say, hey, come support, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's some of that planner. Um,
Oh, yeah. So this year, this is the first time we've had this, and we had a company reach out that offers vacation packages, and so we are offering. In fact, let me pull up my list because it's pretty exciting. Um, we have vacation packages. They don't include airfare, but your accommodations. Um, Orlando, New Orleans, Hawaii, Cancun, and Dublin. So people will get to bid on those. And then we also had another vacation company that just does Las Vegas getaways. So we have a Las Vegas vacation package. Those are probably the bigger ones. I would say we do have a local overnight stay that's been donated from a hotel. Everybody loves the minky blankets. We've got one or two of those. We've got some services from like carpet cleaning, window washing, things like that as well from some local businesses. Yeah, so just a wide variety of items. Yeah, but those are kind of the big ticket items this year.
John, you want to go to Dublin or Vegas?
Neither have I. Yeah, I've been to Vegas, Hawaii, Orlando, Cancun,
Yeah.
but not Dublin or New Orleans. Yeah, those are I'm excited about those.
Huh. Yeah, that's
No, we've got about 50. We've got about 50 right now, and I'm picking up a few more tomorrow. So my room is very full of things, gift baskets. Yeah, it's exciting. And then we also have prize giveaways that so every attendee gets one ticket to go into our drawing. They can purchase additional tickets that night. And we've got lots of local restaurants, movie tickets, like Hydro Jug, like water bottles, tumblers, things like that. Just some fun things, some jewelry. Yeah, fun things. Sure. So we are on Facebook, the SparkLee Sisters, SPARKLEE Sisters, all one word. And then we do have a URL that will take you to our Eventbrite page. So you can purchase tickets, and that is SparkLee Sisters Charity Ball. So just remember two E's for SparkLee, SparkLee
mhm.
Sisters Charity Ball.com. And you'll be able to purchase tickets that way. That's probably the best way to donate at this point is to purchase tickets. I do have a Venmo, um, which I think it's Sparkly hyphen sisters, if I remember right. I just have signs that I print out. But yeah, the best way if you're out of state, obviously, then purchase tickets. But obviously, we want people to be there and have fun. So the best way is to come and attend. But obviously, you can't do that where you live out of state. But for anyone local in the Greater Salt Lake area, David, Utah, Salt Lake County, come show up. It's such a fun night. We have I would say a red carpet arrival, but it's purple because purple is our color. So we have a purple carpet. We've got a photographer, a photo booth, and a live DJ brushes on the dance floor. Oh, and we also have a ballroom dance instruction group. We've got an instructor that comes and we do a short group class as well. So we actually know what we're doing a little bit on the dance floor for like half a minute. And yeah, yeah. So because I'm like, what's the waltz? How do we do this? Yeah, it's fun though. It's fun. It's just about the experience. Yep. Yep. If you walk in on the main entrance on the west side, you come in an area. It's like carpeted. They have little risers you can sit on. We'll have um, desserts and drinks, and yeah, it's really fun. It's fun. Jake, you've been. What do you think?
I think it's wonderful. I think, I wanted you to tell this story as much as possible, but having been in attendance, it's kind of a magical night, and it doesn't feel like you're doing a good deed while you're there because it's very enjoyable the whole time, right?
Yeah,
And I think that makes it easy for people to come and support, right? I think that makes it right, because, like you've said, there's so many little things that you guys have invested in experience. And so it's super, super easy to just say, okay, well, this is going to be something that we invest in for Christmas, right? And so you
yeah,
did your 45, $50 items. Maybe if there's a big package, Dublin, I mean, wow. Yeah, maybe some people are going to say that's the right gift to give for, the holiday season. And you can kind of, nest all of these different benefits around, something that's super simple, which is let's raise money for these two charities. And so, I've seen it done really well at larger events, right? This specific event that you've done for the scale you're doing is incredible, right? And you don't have 30, 40 years behind you on organizing this. And so, I think in a year, two, three, right? It's just going to keep increasing in terms of attendance and the community pull out because I think it is something people on the calendar.
Yeah.
It is something to
Thank
look
you.
forward
Yeah,
to.
that's the goal. I appreciate that you have attended several years and coming back, and I appreciate your support as a sponsor. That really, really does help.
Oh, okay. And hey, this was fun to have you on and get a little bit more. We're good this time around.
Thank you.
John, I'm not John, but yeah, Rebecca, thank you so much, and we are super glad to have you on. We'll post all of the information in the repost of this down in the description, and yeah, attend
Thank
her
you.
event this Saturday.
Thank you
Take
so
care,
much.
Rebecca.
I'll see you then.
Yep,
Bye.
bye.